Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into exactly how ancient civilizations managed to survive absolutely brutal extreme heat. And spoiler alert, they did it using natural, whole foods that modern science is just now proving are literal, perfect electrolyte replacements. We're going to be looking at 15 historically significant, incredibly nutrient-dense strategies that have kept humans alive and kicking for millennia, even in some of the harshest climates on the planet.
So let me ask you, are you already quietly dehydrated right now? You know, most people have absolutely no idea that by the time you actually start feeling thirsty in the middle of summer, your body is already running dangerously low on crucial minerals. The reality is, thirst alone just isn't an adequate warning signal anymore. By the time you feel it, you're already behind the 8 ball.
But nature's solution is honestly brilliant. Take watermelon, for example. It is a massive 92% water, which is crazy, but it also carries this highly targeted payload of the exact minerals your body loses the second you start sweating. It comes preloaded with potassium, magnesium, and anti-inflammatory compounds like lycopene that your cardiovascular system literally begs for in the heat.
Okay, here's our quick roadmap for unpacking all this ancient wisdom. We'll start with the quiet threat of dehydration, then explore hydrating fruits of the desert, look at ancient tonics and waters, move on to mineral-rich seeds and snacks, and finally, tie it all together with modern science and ancient wisdom.
Let's jump right in. Section 1. The quiet threat of dehydration. So when you're out there sweating, you aren't just losing water. You're actually draining out the very minerals your body needs to fire your nerves, and quite literally keep your heart beating in a normal rhythm. If you're getting those horrible 3 a.m. muscle cramps, or that mid-afternoon foggy brain, or just a deep, unshakable fatigue that even a great night's sleep can't fix, well, those are classic telltale signs of a quiet electrolyte depletion.
Moving right along to Section 2, hydrating fruits of the desert. Think about the Israelites wandering the desert. When they were longing for Egyptian melons and cucumbers, that wasn't just some luxury craving for a tasty snack. No, that was their body's deep, biological memory kicking in, practically begging for survival foods. They instinctively knew these were the foods packed with the exact fluids and minerals they needed to survive the blistering heat.
And to put that into perspective, the numbers totally back this up. A single pomegranate delivers a whopping 600 milligrams of potassium. A wedge of watermelon gives you 320 milligrams, and just a handful of medjool dates packs 167 milligrams. Potassium is absolutely the key electrolyte for stopping those painful muscle cramps in their tracks and keeping your blood pressure regulated when the temperature spikes.
Let's look closer at pomegranates. These things were so revered in the ancient world, they were actually carved right into the hem of the high priest's robe in the book of Exodus. But beyond just looking beautiful, they contain punicolagens. Modern research links these incredibly unique antioxidant compounds to real measurable reductions in blood pressure and deep support for your blood vessels. It's truly amazing stuff.
You'll also see this brilliant dual strategy used in the ancient world. Travelers ingeniously leaned on fresh fruits like cantaloupe and grapes, which are like 80 to 90% water, for immediate, rapid cooling and hydration. But when it came to long military marches or nomadic travel, they relied on dried versions like raisins and figs. These were highly portable, insanely mineral-dense energy sources that wouldn't go bad in the relentless desert sun.
All right, Section 3, Ancient Tonics and Waters.
Now, this might totally surprise you, but the sour wine mentioned during the crucifixion and in the Old Testament story of Ruth, that was actually a drink called puska. This was the everyday, highly effective hydration drink for Roman soldiers who were marching extraordinary distances through insane heat. It definitely wasn't a punishment. It was shelf-stable, cheap, and brilliantly hydrating. Honestly, it was essentially the world's very first sports drink.
And the best part? You can actually recreate this historical powerhouse right in your own kitchen in 3 super simple steps. The acetic acid in the vinegar stimulates your digestive enzymes and helps stabilize blood sugar. Then, a pinch of sea salt directly replaces the sodium you're sweating out. Finally, just stir in a touch of honey to soften the sharpness and give you a mild energy boost. Boom! A perfectly balanced tonic.
It's really fascinating to see the sharp contrast between today's modern commercial sports drinks and nature's alternative, coconut water. While those neon-colored sports drinks are usually loaded with highly processed sugars and artificial colors, coconut water naturally packs up to 600 milligrams of potassium and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Nature literally perfectly formulated this thousands of years before a bottling plant ever existed.
And you know, when ancient texts talk about the land of milk and honey,
They were almost certainly talking about goat's milk. Nutritionally speaking, it actually beats out cow's milk when it comes to calcium, potassium, and magnesium levels. Plus, it has an A2 casein protein structure, making it way easier on your stomach. It's basically a perfectly well-rounded electrolyte hit in a single glass.
Even something as incredibly simple as mint, a crop that was actually so valuable the Pharisees carefully tithe it, goes way beyond just giving you fresh breath. Mint contains menthol, which actively, biochemically tricks your mouth's cold, sensitive receptors into feeling cooler. So you literally feel relief even when the blistering heat around you hasn't changed one bit.
Which brings us to Section 4, mineral-rich seeds and snacks. Okay, 735 milligrams. Let that number just sink in for a second. A standard 100-gram serving of olives delivers a massive 735 milligrams of sodium. See, most of the foods we've been talking about are low in sodium, but when you're sweating buckets, sodium is the #1 salt you lose. So this historically symbolic food is far and away the best natural way to replace that missing sodium, letting all your other electrolytes do their jobs properly.
Meanwhile, seeds and greens were absolutely foundational to survival. Flax seeds from ancient Egypt, almonds that were sent as a luxury gift by the patriarch Jacob, and deeply sustaining barley water, these all serve as concentrated bombs of magnesium and protective antioxidants. Barley water especially is loaded with beta-glucan, which actually has a massive evidence base for lowering your cholesterol while keeping you perfectly hydrated.
Oh, but a highly practical tip here if you're going to add these to your daily routine. You absolutely have to grind your flax seeds. If you just eat them whole, they'll literally pass right through your digestive system completely unabsorbed. You'd be missing out entirely on all their incredible anti-inflammatory properties and omega-3s, and we definitely don't want that.
And finally, Section 5, Modern Science, Ancient Wisdom.
So what does this all mean? The crucial takeaway here is that traditional diets didn't just take wild guesses. They naturally assembled the exact perfect wheel of electrolytes your body requires. You've got potassium for your heart rhythm, magnesium for muscle relaxation, calcium for bone and nerve health, and sodium for fluid retention. These ancient populations instinctively gathered all 4 of these to function at their peak in incredibly demanding environments.
I do have to give a quick word of warning, though. Because these natural foods are so incredibly potent and mineral-dense, they have very real physiological effects. If you're managing diabetes, kidney issues, especially when it comes to potassium, or taking specific medications like blood thinners or blood pressure meds, you absolutely must talk to your doctor before drastically changing up your diet. Just play it safe.
Knowing that nature perfected the electrolyte drink thousands and thousands of years before the artificial bottling plant was ever even a thought, I want to leave you with this. Which piece of ancient wisdom are you going to try first to beat the summer heat tomorrow? Think about it, and maybe it's time to start fueling your body exactly the way history intended.